Welcome to the Peak of Fiction podcast where we cover the very peak of anything anime, comics, movies, TV shows, and more in an effort to find the very peak of fiction. On this week's episode, we will be covering Jujutsu Kaisen, but specifically, we're not diving into the series yet. We're going to be covering Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the prequel movie that came out a couple of years ago. And to do so, we have on the pod our special grade Jujutsu sorcerer, Super O.
Am I Super O because I'm like that, or am I like that because I'm Super O?
We'll never know. We will never know. Right. We have heir of the Zenin clan, Beto.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
And we also have, Bates of Dust, myself. I am the hapless civilian in all of this.
He's a monkey.
A monkey. Watching it go down. All right, so before we get into the summary of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, I just want to give everyone a chance to give their initial thoughts and a little background on what this movie is and what it's about. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is a prequel. I believe it was a piece of the manga that was going to be adapted into the TV show, but instead was taken and expanded upon to be adapted into its own isolated movie. Getting added scenes, a little more context, focusing more on Yuta and Geto specifically. So this is before our main character Yuji Itadori shows up, and all the events of Sukuna, and focuses mostly on a side character from the main series. So I just want to bring up this. My initial thought on JJK 0 is I wasn't a big fan of JJK 0, and I want it to be in my heart of hearts. And I'm gonna give a little bit of context. I've not seen all of Jujutsu Kaisen. Right, I'm still watching the first season. So you could say there's no way I could have understood it. Fake fan, etc., etc. Right, I'm ready to accept all of that. That being said, as a movie, I believe I understood everything that happened. Okay, I was not confused about the plot. I was not confused about how the powers worked. None of that stuff was really. I was not confused by the characters. I just didn't feel like it was that compelling, specifically because I just didn't find Yuta that compelling as a main character.
Really?
He was. Don't say this is not my lack of media literacy. I just found him a little annoying. Okay, I found his voice annoying, and I got his story. I just was not that compelled, and it really felt like I was watching a bunch of episodes of the TV show put together. And even as a bunch of episodes of the TV show put together, I never felt like it got that it got a high in terms of animation or music or something. I just didn't get that extra oomph that I felt like I would be getting from watching an anime movie. If I had to compare Jujutsu Kaisen to other anime movies I've seen, like One Piece Film Red or Stampede or Z, or the Dragon Ball movies, or some of the Naruto movies, it just was not hitting like any of those that I've seen. And I wish it did. I wanted it to. And I'm sure the rest of the series is good from what I've seen. I will continue to watch the rest of the series. But Jujutsu Kaisen 0 just did not resonate with me.
That's an interesting take. We'll get more into it as we get to our categories. I do got some pushback here and there, but I think it'll be best brought up when we get to the visuals and characters and whatnot. But me personally, I'm on the opposite end. I haven't read the manga, but I've watched the both seasons. To the beginning of the series to the end of Shibuya incident. And this is also the second time I've seen Jujutsu Kaisen 0. And I thoroughly enjoy it, along with the series as well. I felt that this was probably a movie that people could get into without having to see Jujutsu Kaisen, because it is a prequel. So it takes place right before the events of the movie, but there are references and characters that the movie shows that I could see would be lost on some people. Why would these characters kind of be introduced here? But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I like the soundtrack. I like how it looks. I like the visuals and the fights. I'd say in Ghetto himself, this is like the best outside of like that one part of season 2. It's like the best stuff we see from like Ghetto in a minute. And like Yuda's whole character development throughout this film is also really astounding. Going from this really shy kid to by the end, like a capable like person who's wants to protect his friends, and him come to terms with this power that he thought has been haunting him all this entire time, just for him to come to terms with her and go on even ground and work side by side with her. And it's also this little note of it, like of the movie being like Jujutsu Kaisen Zero is actually really like a love type story between these characters. But yeah, I like the themes and everything that it presented. Personally, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly different on the Jujutsu Kaisen. My background is that I only saw the first episode, and that was it. And so my whole knowledge is skewed to that one episode, the memes, and and just this movie. And from overall, what I can see is that this movie, as what Bates Adjusted said, it's you get it. You get it from this movie, even if you don't have any of the knowledge of any of the of the anime and the manga. If you didn't know any of that, and you just straight up just watch this, you probably understand everything.
Yeah, I would. Sorry to interrupt, but I was worried I'd get lost because I don't know the difference between a simple and a complex domain.
Yeah.
The intricacies of a domain expansion or using increased energy, reverse curse technique, etc. But you really don't need to. They explain it very well.
They explained it well, and they just overall just say it like it is. And that's really good, because whenever it comes to like prequels in movies, sometimes they try to over explain things and try to just over explain things that doesn't really need to be said, or they do need to be said, but they're not in a way that feels compelling. But either way, this was pretty easy to understand, and overall, I think this is an okay movie. And I say that because it is I've seen these story beats done before, but there is so much hype moments and aura from some certain characters that I just say, okay, I get it. But overall, it's a cliche thing, and
I can see the damage that is being done to O already.
I can see the hurt. And all the people who probably has read, loved, and cared about Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be hurt by 2 out of the 3.
And right now, the only thing I was thinking is like, man, I really wish Gray was on this.
If Gray was on this,
He's like, I really wish Gray was here to back me up on this.
I think we have 2 friends who would really love to be on this podcast right now.
This might be your all-star Superman, you know?
I know.
It's gonna look like Mahito getting jumped in a second.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
I do know who Mahito is, okay? I feel like I've absorbed a lot of JGK for cultural osmosis. So I have the ideas, I know the characters, I know how it works. I was there, I was around for the great, Gojo versus Sukuna clash. I know all the memes, the stand proud, you're strong. What is the Gojo meme? No, nah, I'd win.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'd win. Stand proud, you're strong. All the bits.
I'd love to get into Jujutsu Kaisen if only the manga readers and anime watchers would just shut their dang mouth and not leak anything.
Yeah, no, it was bad for a bit. It was definitely like you couldn't like get anywhere because like people were spamming leaks of chapters like every other day. And it's just like, yo, I feel like back then there used to be like a tact to this kind of thing between like anime watchers and manga readers. But like now, especially with like social media over the days and stuff that's popular as JJK, it got so out of hand, man.
Bro, yeah. Actually, on leagues and stuff, I would say the biggest comparison point would be being like a comic book fan. It's rough. It is literally the same. It'll be like an earth-shattering like twist or like a character reveal, and like day 1, hour 1 of release, someone will just post like a full scan on Twitter, like, "Wow, isn't this crazy?"
Yeah, it's just like
It happens all the time. The craziest part about comic books is since so many of them are done or are in production like ahead of time, you're getting information about stuff like arcs and characters and events like months in advance.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough out there. It's definitely rough out there. For in order to better break down this movie, we'll get into a summary, which will be done by Super O. But before we get to the summary, I would like to remind everyone who is listening to this podcast, yes, you, right there, please like, subscribe, follow on whatever platform you are enjoying this fine pod on. And I gotta say, what is the worst that can happen if you like and subscribe to this podcast?
Nothing can happen.
What are you afraid of? Do you have commitment issues? Are you afraid that you'll have too much joy and whimsy in your life, and that's why you're not subscribing to Peak of Fiction? We'll never know.
Come on.
With that being
what's
said,
holding you back?
we appreciate all our listeners, and like, subscribe, all that jazz.
Yeah.
But Super O, could you get into the summary for JJK Zero?
All right. I'm gonna see if I could do my state-of-the-art quick review of JJK Zero.
Here we go.
So JJK Zero is a prequel story to the anime Jujutsu Kaisen, centering around one of Jujutsu High students, Yuta Akotsuku. You see, Yuta was this shy, lonely kid who has been sent to transfer to Tokyo Jujutsu High, a school designated to teach students how to use and fight curses, at the request of Gojo, a teacher there and the strongest sorcerer alive. And the reason why Gojo requested for Yuta to transfer there was for one reason. There's a powerful special grade curse that follows Yuta ever since he was a kid, and it afflicted him after the unfortunate death of his close beloved friend, Rika, who shortly before that told Yuta that they'd get married together in the future. Ever since then, anytime Yuta got threatened, Rika would proceed to pop out and run a fade with whoever threatened him. At his new high school, he meets the trio, Maki, Panda, and Inumaki, and while attending and going out on some missions with them, starts to build a bond with them. Throughout the movie, as he hangs around them, he starts developing more self-confidence. He's even able to utilize Rika's power a bit more. After all this time, Yuta finally has people he could call friends, and is no longer alone. However, it can't all be sunshine and rainbows because as soon a rogue sorcerer appears by the name of Suguru Geto. You see, Geto has this huge resentment towards people who can't use cursed energy, as he believes that those who have that ability are the superior people. He thinks less of the normal people to the point that he refers to them as monkeys. This man is moving like Prime Frieza.
He is moving like Prime Frieza. He's kind of wild, throwing out the monkey word.
Oh yeah, it's like second nature to him, man. So when Geto shows up at Jujutsu High and declares that he will enact the night parade of 100 demons, where he will release 1,000 curses upon Japan, with the focal point of killing as many normal people as possible. So now Jujutsu High's sorcerers have to assemble together to take down the impending threat. And there's the sorcerers that assemble. You'd probably be more acquainted for if you've seen the show, but they're all there. We got Nanami, the Kyoto students, Gojo, Mei. We got them all there.
Mm-hmm.
But while that's happening, Geto is elsewhere putting BTA on Yuta's friends, Panda, Inumaki, and Maki. When Yuta arrives and sees his friends down and severely hurt, he calls out to Rika enraged and proceeds to fight Geto. It's a well-fought battle as Yuta and Rika are fighting in tandem against Geto, summoning numerous curses as well. And even though Geto is the more experienced sorcerer, it appears Yuta is getting more and more adept with his curse energy. When it appears Geto is pushed back, he decides to end the fight using his strongest attack, Curse Manipulation Maelstrom, an attack that fuses all his curses energies into one big ball of destruction. Upon this, Yuta turns to Rika and thanks her. Thanks her for always being there for him, thanks her for always protecting him, and most of all, thanked her for loving him. And he tells her he's willing to give his life to her as well, because he loves her too. And upon doing this, through the power of love, Rika's limiters breaks, and she sends a blast overpowering Maelstrom, defeating Geto, and leaving him for dead. Yuta has won. After defeating Geto, Yuta realizes that he had actually unconsciously uncursed Rika himself out of grief and attachment. Accepting this truth, the curse for Rika is broken, and she thanks Yuta for allowing her to be with him, and she gives a peaceful goodbye as her spirit moves on. Yuta has now grown into a full-fledged sorcerer, and assuredly he uses his powers to fight and protect his friends, like Rika used her power to protect him. And that is JJK 0.
Very good summary. Very good. Very good split summary. We love to see it.
You already know. I'm in my bag with these things.
I don't know where I'd bring this up before we get to review, but I got to bring it up here. All right. I almost would like to applaud JJK for having diversity, but at the same time, how would you have a movie? I'm just asking questions here. But how do you have an anime movie where you have two black people in it, and both of them are antagonists that get beat into a pulp? What's going on here? Okay, I'm asking questions. Okay, because when I opened up JJK 0, okay, I opened up JJK 0, and the very first thing I saw was that black guy bullying Yuta. I was like, "What's going on here?"
Oh, him.
I had a real like what are we what did you mean by that, gay? What's
Don't worry, Miguel's cool. Miguel's cool though. If you watch the after credits scene, he's actually chilling with Yuta now. So they're in Africa.
Yeah, I know. They do go to Africa. They do, yeah.
I mean, the principal was black too. I think the one with the shades.
I don't think the principal's black.
He's pretty. He's at least light skinned.
Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it.
But I just had some questions. I just had some questions of how a black kid managed to rise to the hierarchy of I guess Japan's social status enough to bully Yuta. I just had questions.
Just put a picture of Columbo when Bates you ask that. Just put a picture of him.
Just asking around.
Just asking these questions.
There's one more thing. So, all right. That being said, we have a rating system for where we apply to everything we review, where we have 5 different points, 5 different metrics, and we review them 1 through 5 stars. All right. So the metrics are visuals, characters, writing and dialogue, X-Factor, and hype moments and aura. So we go bit by bit just to see, where's it stack on the scale, and once we tally them up, we can see if it's peak fiction or just all right. So we'll start with the visuals, which I think is probably one of the stronger standpoints for this film. Mm-hmm. And what do we feel about the visuals? Like, how the film looked, and how the art design was utilized.
Yeah, I mess with it. It takes the regular JJK art style, and I don't know. I felt this, especially during the Geto versus Yuta fight, but it makes it low key look more, what's the word? Like, I guess older a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I like the character designs. Typically, we don't really get a lot of new ones because a lot of these characters have been shown in the show. But just like Rika and Yuta, because at this point they were like new additions, I liked how they looked, and also the backgrounds as well, and also how they moved in this this movie was really nice. Every time curse energy is utilized, there's this like thick black outline surrounding their aura, and it's just this really like cool effect. They do this in a show too. But like here, they kind of put a little like movie more budget into it, and it just looks a lot more like shocking. I mean, and also the combat too, like the fighting in this is really good, especially like even because in this in this movie, when people fight, just like in the Jujutsu Kaisen, they use their curse energy, but they also use like martial arts as well, and it's a really good mix between the martial arts and the curse techniques being used. Of course, there's the infamous scene of Gojo beating on Miguel. Really, during Black History Month too. Just he's doing moves I've never even seen him do in the show. But You know, everyone kind of like popped out, I feel, in this. And we also got, this is more of an underrated one for me. I know you guys probably wouldn't pick up on this, but the black flashes that Yuta used on Geto or that
Yeah,
Nanami on the curses, those were some really good impact frames. But yeah, I personally really enjoyed it. I'd give it a 4.5 because I just think that the regular series has just better visuals
this is what I'm
over.
gonna say. This is what I was gonna say. This is my point. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. Okay, so I'm not the bad guy here. This is why for me the visual rating is a 4. Because it's good, but you know I've seen better from the show.
Yeah.
I've seen those clips of Sukuna fighting Maharaga. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah. That yeah, there's a lot going on in the show.
there's a lot going on in the show, and I felt like I was underwhelmed, right? Because a lot of it looks good, but I was like, oh, that's it. You know, that's kind of how I felt. Like I didn't feel like, oh, it just went above and beyond, like in a movie way, like other series have, right? And I'm going to compare it. I have to compare it to other, things like this that I've seen, like let's say adaptations or, related shonen movies, like I guess like Film Red or Stampede or like Broly, and they're not the same. They like
I put
the
it more Film
budget.
Red.
Film Red was a little underwhelming in parts too, because I think that was focused more on like the music video parts of it is where the animation really was. But like it didn't do that like extra bit that I was expecting it, right? Everything was kind of like within expectations for the show. And it really didn't pop off for me until like maybe the last like 30 minutes, right? Like when Yuta fought that curse in the
With
in
Inumaki.
with Inumaki in the abandoned mall, I think.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, I really felt like I was watching a TV show. For better or worse. It felt like I just watched an episode of the television show, and it did not justify a movie kind of thing. It'd be one thing if this was like some like anime films where they're like compilations of the TV show, right? More or less, with like extra stuff added on, or it was just like a repackagement, or this was a show. But when you call something a movie, and I have to put you up against movies, right? My standards are different. They're just going to be different, and for a movie, I think this is lacking. And no, it's not. Now, this is not to say it's bad. It's still very pretty to look at, but it was lacking, and that's why I have to give it a 4.
Yeah. Well, on a little bit on that point though, I can see why you say it feels like certain episodes just kind of mixed together. Well, because it was based off of like you mentioned earlier when you were describing the series. This was originally supposed to be like a show, but then they changed it to a movie. So it kind of has that show like structure. But I would say like even though not every scene has to be like a big bang, flashy type scene. Especially that scene was more so just to introduce Geto, and like the fact that Geto was using that curse. He planned that curse there to gauge Yuta where Yuta was at for future reasons.
But you can see it. But you're giving me a story beat. I'm talking about the visuals.
Yeah, you were mentioning why.
I'm just saying. But like, I understand the movie. I understand the movie, but it could look better.
Okay,
that's all I'm trying to get at. Is if you're gonna be a movie, if you're playing in the movie space, right? You've decided to say we are a movie, we have a movie budget, we have all this stuff. Then I expect movie visuals. That's all I'm saying. And this didn't bring it for me.
Okay,
and I'm not even going full hate. I'm not going hater. I'm not saying no, it sucked, and that's why it's a 3. I'm giving a 4. That's perfectly fine.
I just explained it. I was just explaining the beat. That's all. You mentioned it, and I just want to give more context to why that would be there. But what's your score?
You know, you know, you know. Visually great. Mappa did their business. I give it a 4. It looks great. It looks amazing. But Paw Patrol made it really great the movie.
Okay, bro. Okay.
The Bob's Burgers movie looked a little, better.
Bro, okay. Oh, you have to understand, and I understand. Part of this is because you like JJK, right? We are not like JJK fans, so we don't have that same attachment. But if you understand, right? When we are rating this against other animated movies. Okay, this is going head to head.
I know. I hear you. I hear you.
This is going head to head with the works of Spider-Verse and the Iron Giant. Okay?
I hear you. You don't even like the Iron Giant.
Yo, the Iron Giant has better animations here.
Officially.
No. Now big up Iron Giant animation, bro. Nah.
Okay, so I'm joking. Okay, so I'm joking about the Iron Giant part, but I will say we are when you're rating it, right? You're rating against that. You're rating against Akira, right?
No, I hear you. That's how I'm rating it.
It's not better animation than Akira, but
okay. So I'll say this: what would you rate regular JJK if we were to review the show? What would you rate the show?
5.
The 5.
5 for sure. Yeah.
And now you see the problem, right?
How's that the problem?
You rated it 4.5.
It looks good. I don't know what to tell you.
But what I'm saying is, if the TV show looks better than the movie, something's gone wrong.
No. I'm not debating that. I'm not debating that. But see, here's the thing. Brother just said Paw Patrol. So, I'm sorry if I have a little pushback.
Have you seen Paw Patrol Sakuga?
Okay, bro.
All right. So now our next category will be characters, which I think is another strong point from the film. I will say, right, for when I talk about the characters, and the main character, I was not a big fan of Yuta. Now, I watched the film in dub, right? So that will impact how I, think and feel about Yuta. But just to make sure, I also went back to, what the Japanese sounded like. And both of them sound equally whiny. And I don't like how
whiny.
I don't. He has that whiny. He's like, I'm here to protect my friends. Voice, not full Deku, but very if you watch Evangelion, almost Shinji like, right, in his voice. And he never felt that cool to me. He just never felt that cool to me. I'm not, I know it's cool to slander Yuta these days, and I'm not slandering Yuta because of that, because of the memes. He just never felt like, oh yeah, this guy. I was waiting for the performance to kind of shift from when he gained more confidence and he did more stuff. I don't expecting him to be to go from more quiet to and now I'm Yuta, right? But it just was he always, I don't know, he just never really did anything for me. I just never resonated with the character. I understand the character, but I feel like I've seen this character style done better in different places, and I just was not a fan of Yuta. Now, Yuta aside, I did like Geto a lot, right? I think Geto was a very good villain. I vibed with him in his beat, right? And his the only reason we have to serve the people because there's so many of them, but it should just be a sorcerer only society. Of course, Gojo. I liked all the different side characters like Maki and Panda and Inumaki. I think those are all great side characters, and you really help flesh it out. I think Yuta and Maki have a pretty good burgeoning relationship. I just wasn't a big fan of Yuta. No matter how I try to shake it out, I just was not a big fan of Yuta.
That's interesting. I mean, if I could push back on that, Yuta was a whiny type of character that you were saying he is. You gotta keep in mind, Yuta for a long time, he had no one ever since he was cursed or cursed Rika, and Rika's been following him. Every time people got close to him, Rika would Rika would be at risk of crashing out and like potentially harming or killing that person. That's why he's always been by himself. And it wasn't until like he up until this point, like he's just kind of like all alone in the world. He didn't even know. He thought he was probably like the only one who had to deal with something like this. And then like 6 years after that event of experiencing this, suddenly Gojo comes and he takes him to people who actually knows what he's going through, who actually could see Rika, who this curse doesn't scare. You know, people who he could actually like hang out with, and that's why he actually becomes friends with the main trio. And yeah, it might be like a bit awkward at first, but that's literally, and he might be like, "Why did at first?" But again, he's never experienced this before. Like up until now, he's been. It's like if Naruto like it's kind of like similar with like how Naruto was like ostracized and like couldn't talk to anyone because of the demon inside of him. That was kind of like Yuta. Like he couldn't talk to no one about this. But finally he found people that like he actually gels with, who actually knows what he's going through. And because of that, that's why his character starts getting confidence at this moment rather than like so much earlier in his life. Especially after that first mission with Maki, where he didn't want to be there because of all these curses and whatnot. First time he's ever seen this, and he got swallowed up by a curse. But he's just like, I can't let Maki go. I can't let Maki, die here when she got hurt, because she's literally like his friend. He's literally the only person. Like she's fighting against this thing, and she needs help. And he realized at that moment that he kind of has to like lock in.
No, that was a cool moment. I think I'm gonna blame part of this on the voice performance.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he
still sounds the same. I would say both in Japanese and English. Even once like he does all the stuff, he still sounds kind of the same. And it was just kind of like, oh, I feel like if I read this, I might have a whole different opinion. Not a whole different, but maybe a different opinion on it. But hearing it and watching it was a very kind of like kind of experience, and I just did not vibe that well with Yuta. I mean, I think the story's okay. It's all right. It's still generic, in my opinion.
It's a love story.
Yeah, I know.
His arc is a love story between him and Rika. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And him accepting Rika is a big part of his character. Like because like his whole arc is getting to that point where he's comfortable in himself and confident enough in himself and his own strength, where he doesn't have to like rely on Rika as much as he used to for protection. Where if he's in a bind, he doesn't need to like crash out with the curse that wants to destroy everything. But him accepting Rika as a part of him, as someone that he actually like truly like loves. I think everything really comes down to that penultimate moment at the end of the film, where he finally does like truly like accepts her and gives himself to her, like a guy who's in love with a chick would give himself to her. And that power of love, as corny as it might be to say, is what gives him and Rika the strength to like overcome the crazy obstacles that are being like thrown their way. And by the end of the Yuta at the end of the film, I'm not even counting like the after credit scene. The Yuta at the end of the film is like a completely different Yuta from the beginning of the film. You know what I mean? He's a completely different, and I feel like throughout the film, he's like a complete. Through each scene, he is a more confident and more developed Yuta than what you would see in the last scene. You know what I mean? Even when Ghetto pops up, you know what I mean? The Ghetto in the beginning would not be talking about, no, don't talk about my, don't call my friend a monkey. You know what I mean? Don't call my friends like that, right? But this Yuta, like, he's just like, hey, yo, bro, dog, he just called my friend useless. Yo, get your hand off me, bro. Don't let me smack. You know what I mean? Like, you can see him developing into like a sorcerer for his friends. And I think that's just a very interesting thing that character journey is such an interesting watch, especially when you watch it in tandem with how he reacts with like Rika throughout all of this.
I hear you. I do. Okay, your opinion has been notified and cataloged. However,
okay.
I don't know. I'm still feeling like like a 3.5.
Okay. Okay.
It's I mean, they're okay. And I granted, I know if I watched the show, I'd have more attachment and more background, right, to fill in some of the gaps. But again, I don't feel like there's a lot of gaps to fill.
Yeah, like this
Um,
out. Yeah, the show doesn't really even cover Utah. Like this is like the most show wise anyway. This is the most Utah we have. In the show he's mentioned, but we never like see him. In
Yeah.
fact, his like the next season's gonna probably be his first appearance within the show itself. Like I don't the show might cover more for like other characters like Ghetto for sure. Oh yeah, especially if Ghetto's whole like backstory in the show. But Utah himself, I think this is like the pinnacle. Not pinnacle, because it's obviously gonna be more, but this is like if you want to get a good grasp of who Utah is as a character and why he's like this, I think this movie is a good focal point for that.
Yeah, some of the characters are really good. I do like our strongest main characters being Gojo and Geto and Maki, Panda. I especially like Toji Unamaki, the guy who can't say any other words other than
Oh, that's
ingredients.
Yeah, sushi ingredients. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah. He's really great. Albeit, I think it's like the voice acting performance that kind of really eschews things, that really hinders. Because I do think when I first hear Yuta, I thought he'd be kind of like more passive and not a strong voice, but more of like I guess I was going for normal. But when I did first hear him, I was like, okay, is he going to be a lot more compassionate and much more confident in what he says? It kind of stay the same throughout the whole entire movie.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a little bit bummed on that, but either way, all the characters are really, really great. I'm a little indifferent with Geto because it felt a little bit like
Fellow fighting with all the monkeys.
No. But it felt like his like motivations and stuff just really didn't click with me at first. I felt like it was kind of like another, mustache twirling villain kind of thing. I kind of was thinking of like the first Doctor Strange movie where it's like, I don't know, kind of like we don't need all these.
That also, I can also saw that did damage to.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
No, cause I understand. I understand why you say that about Ghetto.
You are missing crucial Ghetto backstory.
Yeah. There is good. So like I get why off of just this movie, he might seem like I just want to end the world type of villain.
Right.
His whole thing is more so just, hey, it really just boils down to we are the superior people, and those who aren't are worthless. Like we shouldn't be protecting them because there's this whole like balance in society. Again, that's more of a show thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could continue at this.
Yeah. Either way, I think the characters are great, but I'd give it a 4.
Okay.
I do like, I will say, I do like the final battle, whatever, does show off all the different Jujutsu fighters, and they all get to do their little bit, which I think that's a good amount. That's a good kind of like fan service, I guess, for the watchers of the show, readers of the manga. You can see like Toto and Mei, and Nanami, and the rest of the gang all use their abilities in different cool ways and like show out before their I guess debut in the show. I think like all that stuff's pretty good. I mean, those are some of the stronger like fun little bits watching it all go down.
Yeah. Oh, did I give my
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I already kind of mentioned it as I was talking, but yeah, not to get too more deep into this. Yeah, I thoroughly like the characters, but I think the main focal points of this movie for me is definitely Yuta and Geto. Geto is just, to me, he's just such a great villain. His extreme his racism towards like normal people is we love a good racist, folks. We love and I just love how his like last words is kind of was going just like the last words. He's just like, I hate those damn monkeys.
Mm-hmm.
I need to hate like him one day, bro. Like I need to. But yeah, no, Ghetto is great. I think they utilized him pretty well in this film, and he isn't even like. I mean, he is a bag.
He's not even that bad a guy when you think about it. He actually made some good. He made some good points.
He really said something to me, you know?
Now let me calm down a little. Let me calm down a little. I'll get ahead of myself there. He kind of spit a low key, but more so when it comes to sorcerers, he actually, in his way, cares about the sorcerers. Like even at the end, where he's just like, he says something along the lines of, these are you sorcerers are his people, and he doesn't even really want to harm them. It's just that he hates humanity so much, like he hates regular people so much that he thinks it's just so much better off if humans just got wiped out. So I really messed with his whole thing. And Yuta and Rika, I think, are definitely standouts in this film as their relationship kind of deepens and their bond gets tighter throughout the film, and we see that. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And seeing Yuta bond with, Panda and Umaki and May, and him finally having like people who he could call like friends, people who he'd like fight for. Yeah, I mess with the characters a lot in this. I think my only gripes really with the characters is that outside of the characters I've mentioned, granted, this is a movie based off of a show, and these characters that are in the show have more to do and a bit more depth. Like Gojo, I feel like we didn't really. Gojo's there for aura farming reasons, but like honestly, like I don't feel like Gojo's presence is that much felt in this film, personally. But like the regular Jujutsu sorcerers that we see from Jujutsu High, like the principal and Kyoto High and all of them, it's not their movie, and they're just there for fan service. I feel like I still gotta kind of like add their impact to me, across as I seen them on the screen. So I gave it not sure. I'm looking to say between a 4 and a 4, probably a 5. But I'm gonna give it because Geto is a really good villain. Geto and Yuta are really good to me. And their whole dynamic is nice. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'll give it a 4. I'll give it a 4.
Okay. All right. Well, I move on to our next category: writing and dialogue. And I have a couple of like, I'm gonna writing dialogue. My thing with writing dialogue is I felt it was just a little too cliche. It's dealing with maybe more complex topics in the world, but I didn't feel the story was particularly like, I'm not saying it was revolutionary or whatnot, but it just was a little bit like it felt closer because and the funny part of JJK almost like subverts like the Naruto, like I have something trapped, I have this entity trapped inside me, and it's negative, and but I learned to get along with it and we team up. That's not happened in JJK, but in this, that kind of is what happens, and it's just a little bit. It plays out how you'd think it would play out for the most part, and I just wasn't that like compelled. And I'm okay with generic if there's like, I would say, if I enjoy the characters a lot and I enjoy like other parts of it, but for this it was just kind of like, that's
Yeah,
how I
no,
feel.
I hear you. I will say on that point of like how it doesn't subvert expectations with the thing. As far as JJK goes, you're right. JJK is known for like, kind of flipping a lot of the tropes on its head or doing like something like unexpected that you wouldn't typically see from a Shonen Jump series. But the thing about how you compared, Kurama with Naruto, the whole Kurama thing with Naruto, and how Naruto has to befriend Kurama even though he's like this malevolent thing, and how in the series it's the opposite version. In this movie, Rika isn't a malevolent spirit. She's not malevolent. She's just obsessed. She really is. She's just that obsessed girl who wants to protect her man, for lack of a better term. Yuta doesn't realize that for a lot of the early parts of the movie, because to him she is this like crazy demon that is hurting everyone around him. But that's why like him quote unquote changing her, he doesn't really change her. He's just confessing his feelings. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of resentment and pent up regret he has when he saw her killed, prematurely killed. So that does build up to a point where it's just like you know, now I actually have the confidence in myself to reveal my feelings to her, to tell her that I understand. I understand why you do the things you do. And I'm not even mad at you. I respect and I thank you and I love you for that. That I love you is just why it's enough. That I love you is why it was enough to like change, not even change her, just for her to like express her joy, side with him so easily because they're in love, bruh.
Yeah.
They're in love.
I hear you. I hear you. I feel like I'm gonna say that phrase. I hear you a few times. You're explaining. I feel like every time I bring something up, you explain the plot to me. I'm like, no, I was
I
there.
I try to break it down. Just try to break it down for our listeners, for our
For our
listeners who
listeners. Okay.
never heard it. So I'm just adding more context.
Yeah, adding more context. Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
as to
Fair.
like
One other thing I had issue with the writing, especially in the finale, is the I don't know, the battle, the final battle between Gato and Yuta was just a little underwhelming for me.
really.
Yeah, I think there were some interesting parts to it, but it didn't feel like a complex it didn't feel like a complex sorcerer battle like I've seen from the manga or the show, and it felt like a more of a generic kind of fight.
That's fair.
And I understand because it's a movie versus a show, whatever. But one thing I was really underwhelmed by was the fact that it was Gato's final attack was just a big death ball, and I thought there'd be more to it.
It's his penultimate attack because he's taking all the spirits' curses.
Yes.
Because his whole thing is curse manipulation. So he takes curses for himself, and he could like control curses that he's pretty much a Pokemon catcher with curses. Yeah. So that last attack is him just taking every like curse that he has and just mixing it all together into a death ball.
Yeah, but just like the final part of this being a beam clash is a little underwhelming, and I understand it probably has relevance in the show. But when he brings out like that super curse, because he brings out two things, he brings out that super curse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the what's it, malfeasance, malevolence, right?
You mean Maelstrom?
Yeah, Maelstrom. He brings out Maelstrom and he brings out the super curse. I'm like, what's the super curse gonna do? He just stands there, and I'm like, why'd you bring him out? And maybe there's a better explanation than manga, but I was watching that. I was like, well, why'd you bring him out then? Because he's not doing anything. He's just standing there, and it just I was just kind of like, that part also kind of underwhelmed me for what the show I guess could do and the potential
typically
does. Of it.
Oh, that's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. I personally really enjoyed that battle because, like, I just really because, like I mentioned earlier, Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen does its fighting really well, even in the show, where it mixes martial arts and it mixes cursed energy techniques. And in this case, it's Geto's martial arts and his curse summonings versus Yuta's martial arts and his Rika summoning. And after going at it, I like all the little moments, like even like the when Yuta lands a black flash on him, which for listeners or I don't know if Beto knows what it is. It's pretty much that punch he does on him where it emits like this black and red energy, and it's equivalent of getting rolling like a D in D&D. You know what I mean? Where and not a whole lot of people could do it consecutively, except for Itadori Yuji, but that's a main series thing. But yeah, everything like them busting out their techniques against each other, them like going hand to hand. I thought it was really well. Like this is one of the better anime fights for sure. Like for sure. But I understand what you mean about the Maelstrom and the Love Beam clash at the end, especially with JJK. JJK is typically a more when it comes to their curse techniques. It is more like stand like. Where there's a certain rule to curses, and
yes, actually, I think that's the perfect comparison. If they ever made a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure original movie, which they haven't, they should. They should.
I mean, technically, the OVA movie.
What OVA movie?
The one where for part 3, I mean
like original movie. With an original story.
I mean,
They have not done that yet.
Zero isn't an original. Isn't
Oh
an
yeah,
original
it's a prequel.
movie.
It's a prequel. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But anyways, if imagine if they made like a JoJo, or like prequel or a JoJo whatever, and like the final fight was a beam clash. You'd be a little underwhelmed. You'll be a little underwhelmed. Is what I'm saying. Because you feel like
That's fair.
There's a little more in the bag than this.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I'm not mad at it. I personally give this movie for the writing and dialogue. I personally give it a 4. I think it's a really good anime movie, but it's still an anime movie. Let me reword that. It's a really good anime movie, but like there are, for me, when it comes to anime movies that are based off of like an existing anime I've seen, there is this bar where it's like, this is a good movie. This is a good movie for this anime, and then there's this is a fantastic. Yeah,
The expectations are different. I will say the expectations are definitely different. The bar is lower, maybe, because it's like, especially for a shonen, as you're taking like a long running thing and with kind of relies on these long running character arcs over the course of many chapters and episodes, and then you're telling a more condensed story in like a hour and a half, 2 hour time frame. And something's always going to give when you do that.
Yeah. And it's like I still think it's a really well done film. Still, I think the plot is really good. And I think the character interactions and the dialogue is also so well. And this is all like a prequel too, so it's not you don't even have to really know much before of the main series to really watch it. It just didn't hit that. It just didn't hit that 5 for me. When I think of 5 there, and I've seen anime movies that are based off of shows, anime movies that derive from shows that I have in like my favorite movies in general. Like for instance, One Piece Z, I would say it's either a 4.5 or 5 for me.
Much more well written.
Or one of my personal favorite anime derived movies, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side of the Dimensions slaps. That is like 5. That is a
Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side Dimensions.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Side Dimensions, bro. I'm putting y'all onto game, bro. Like I'm putting y'all onto some serious game. Okay. 10 out of 10 would watch.
Got it. I would say, my favorite anime movie would probably be Film Z, or I don't know. I mean, Broly's a stupid movie, but it's it knows what it's doing. It does what it wants extremely effectively, and that's why I like it. It's not trying to be high art.
Yeah, Broly's pure hype, I would say. So I could see that. Naruto Road to Ninja is pretty well good. I haven't seen that in a minute, but like I remember liking that. But yeah, like it's a 4. Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is probably a 4 for me. So.
It's gonna be a 3 for me.
4 for me. I definitely do. This is the writing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, if it's for the writing, then yeah, I'd give it a 4. It's cliche at best, but it does still have the perfect charm from the characters, like bringing a little bit of spark to the script and a little bit of the performances here and there that really sparks everything up. But yeah, from every character and from everyone's dialogue, and just how what we've said about like previous other movies that were based off of anime TV shows or just basically a manga, it's really hard just to adapt those things into a movie because you have so much that we have so much material. One of them for me is like the Spy Family Winter Mission. I forgot what it was called. Mission White. It's not the best movie, but I did find it very entertaining for what it is, and it's not always going to meet the mark as a good movie, but it will meet the mark for a good episode of the TV show. Wait, I can actually apply this to the Bob's Burgers movie. It's the same thing.
Yeah, get that weak. No, get that weak.
No,
I can apply this to too. Yo, hold on. Let me cook here. The Bob's Burgers movie is pretty much an episode of Bob's Burgers. Just giving a little shout out to Bob's Burgers. I'm sorry.
No, speak.
Man,
you're the platform, Beto. Beto, you have the stage. I want you to speak.
It's like,
Man, guys, we should really do an episode of Bob's Burgers. And
Bob's
just
Burgers.
everyone watch Bob's Burgers and watch the Bob's Burgers movie, because that movie has really great animation. It has a really great, funny cast. Man, so great. What are we talking about again?
if we do the Bob's Burgers movie and you give it a 5, I'm killing you.
It's gotten that bad. It's gotten that bad already.
It's not that bad. Jeez. Gotta change to different monsters, man. Can't be.
All right, so our next category is X-Factor. What makes this unique? What makes it stand out? Those different things. And I think this might be my lowest score here. Because I don't know what's unique about JJK0. It's all the unique stuff is in the show or the manga. And I can't say like, oh well, this just really pioneered like anime movies, or this really did something like super interesting. I would say the most unique thing that JJK0 accomplished was it really set the trend for anime adaptations of things going to theaters, and maybe paved the way for Demon Slayer in theaters taking over, and Chainsaw Man, and etc. But in terms of like the thing itself, I don't know. I'm struggling to think of it, because I'm saying the world's very unique, right? Power's unique. All that stuff is super unique. If we were reviewing JJK, easy 5. We're not reviewing JJK. We're reviewing JJK0. And this is where I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you can sway me, but I don't know.
I mean, I personally used my X-Factor to rate the soundtrack, and I mentioned it before, but like how well of an anime movie this is compared to other anime type films. I get it, Jujutsu Kaisen, Jujutsu Kaisen's world itself is interesting, and I understand because this movie didn't do the interesting, or didn't showcase the more interesting stuff of the world, I can see why that would be lower. Personally, I gave it a 3.5, because I think it does well it does really well to show what Jujutsu Kaisen is without revealing, the main.
That is true. I will say it does a very good job of onboarding into Jujutsu Kaisen. In fact, I would say it does a better job of onboarding you than the show does at points. Because the show really definitely lays a lot.
It kind of throws you in.
Yeah. This.
Yeah.
I was surprised of how easily they could explain all these different curse techniques and how curses work and stuff in a very quick amount of time. I feel like there was whole episodes dedicated to it in the show. So that is true.
Yeah. And anime movies, they kind of have their obligatory, here's your side fights, here's the characters from the show that don't really have enough time in the movie, but we're gonna showcase them to you. It has its, but I think the fact that this movie it doesn't focus on Yuji, because Yuji is the main character of Jujutsu Kaisen. It focuses on a past character and a side character that's gonna be in the main series. So I didn't know anything about Yuta going into the movie outside of the few mentions that they did of him in the show, and even then I didn't remember that Yuta was I remember rewatching Jujutsu Kaisen and they're name dropping Yuta everywhere, and I'm just how did I not notice this? Yeah, Yuta is the strongest sorcerer that comes to our school.
Mm-hmm.
And now watching the movie, I'm just that's who that is. But yeah, no, I think Yuta's just it's a really interesting point to give us a past story in the same world. And I don't think a lot of I think more anime movies should do this, where it's, where they don't have to focus on the main the main character and his crew. You could just focus on a different character. It could be a side character, it could be a past character, you know what I mean?
This is very true.
All this to say, give us God Valley as a movie. give us a Rocks Pirates feature film.
Actually, that's right. With the anime announcement, maybe they should do a movie, but no. I take your God Valley movie, right, and I raise. I'm gonna say, Dave reductions. Okay, if you're watching, okay, I got easily. Right, this is gonna be a quick 700 mil for you right now. Okay. Part 5 prequel series about the assassination squad. All right? You know,
Okay.
not the main squad, but a past adventure of the assassination squad as all friends. Okay, so you got Risotto.
Yeah.
You got
Pesci.
got Pesci, got Ghiaccio.
Prosciutto,
You
I
got
think his
like
name is.
Prosciutto. You got like all the guys, right? All the guys in the assassination squad teaming up for like a big adventure. You know, back before they, you know, and maybe back before maybe a little animosity they have with them and Diavolo, right? But Diavolo's not going to show up that much, of course. But they got one job to do, okay? And they get stuck in some crazy environment. And they have to fight a bunch of enemy stand users in Italy, all right? And get a nice, prequel for La Squadra, okay? La Squadra prequel goes so hard. People would love it.
Yeah, nah.
Great opportunity. You can even have a little bit of Bruno in there. You know, Bruno can do a cameo because he was in the gang, right? Actually, all the other boys, right? Maybe not Arancha, but definitely you can get Bruno, Baccio, Mista, right? As little cameos, but have like the full gang, right? Come out full force prequel series or movie, right? And have like some super powerful stand user, and the whole squadron has to team up to take him out, right? From Tiny Feet to Metallica, all using their stands to man in the mirror. It'd go hard, all right? It'd feed family, it'd feed generations. Dave Productions, the ball is in your court, all right?
I can't even hate. I think we need more Fugo content, low key.
We do need more Fugo content.
But yeah, all that to say, I do like that angle they went with this story, making it a prequel. So I gave it a 3.5. Honestly, I'm gonna give it a 4 off for that. I really like how they did it, and I'm mixing the soundtrack with that too. Also, just a little bit about the soundtrack. The soundtrack greatest strength. When I first heard that in theaters, I'm like, yeah, I have just after listening to that soundtrack the first time I seen it in theaters, I had that playing for like weeks. Man, that losing, moving forward. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
For me, it's gonna be a 3. It's not a 3.5 for me. I think I'm a little more convinced. But it's like I can't give it for that much for anything like super super unique.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't see that much of the uniqueness from this. I think it's like another anime movie, so I'm just gonna give it a 3.
All right. 1 minute.
All right, and our last category, perhaps the most important category, is for this movie. It's gonna be hype moments and aura. Okay, and I would say this had a lot of hype moments in aura.
This had a lot, and it all starts with the letter G.
Yeah, great use of Gojo. He doesn't show out as much as he could show out, but you definitely get the feeling who is the strong people, right? Who are the powerful sorcerers in this era? And like we said before, that moment when you can see all the other sorcerers kind of show out, where all the different side characters kind of show out and do their little thing, was pretty good. Shout out to Nanami going in and saving that squad. He looked very clean.
Yes, and an interesting thing about when he did that, they referenced that in the show, where Yuji first uses the Black Flash, or maybe it was before he used the Black Flash, but one of those moments, where he's just like, what you used was the Black Flash, and I did that too. And the most I was ever able to do it was 3 in a row, because it's such a difficult technique to use and such a spur of a moment technique to use. So rewatching that, I didn't even realize he did that. That fight was the 3 was his record that he was talking to Yuji about. So I like that. I got a little lore there. Yep. Yeah, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna So I liked so I rated the hype moments a 5 personally. I think there's a lot in this film that because in Jujutsu Kaisen it's no slouch when it comes to like moments that kind of get you on your feet. From all like the fights, like Inumaki using his ability, I really enjoy when he grabs the throat medicine and he's just like, get crushed, and his curse gets crushed. I love that, bro. The Gojo showing that he's not an ally and dogging Miguel for a minute straight.
Bro, he's beating that man. He got yeah. It's like it's like if you've ever seen Ip Man. It's
yes,
like the final fight in Ip Man.
He's like, and all lives matter. Gojo. And also, I know you guys, or at least you mates, don't feel that much towards this, but I did really like the "I love you" scene at the end between.
I know it wasn't a bad scene. No, don't get me wrong. That was good. It was a good scene. I just wasn't like it didn't push me over. Well, I wasn't blown away by it, but it was a well done scene. But yeah, I would say it's a 5 for me too. It's very hype, very very hype movie, and it, you know, well, I may have complained about the visuals. Not complained, but the visuals do work out in this case to really sell the powers, the strength, and it's very cool. Everyone's very cool in this in their own way, right? And seeing everyone do their own thing, like even Panda, when he he shows up and he's throwing things and whatnot. Villains are very threatening, and the heroes are able to project like a good level of strength as well. But yeah, 5 for me.
5, most definitely. There's so many great action scenes from the very beginning with, I think, like Maki, and mostly a lot of the stuff was with Gojo. Most of the impressive fight scenes and cool visual styles of action just goes, just like hand-to-hand combat. It was really cool. Mappa did their job. Mappa? Whatever. They did their job.
Okay. I think we have our scores, so we can tally them up, and we can reach the final score for JJK and see, is it peak fiction, or is it
Hint. It's probably not mid.
And off the jump rope, it's great.
Yeah, you wish. No one's coming. No one's coming to help you. What, you think you're gonna? It's gonna be like you're gonna say his name, like Joe Hendry. Gray's just gonna show up. Like, no, sorry.
Say his name and he
appears. No, I'm afraid not. There's no.
Watch out!
There is no Tooth Fairy. There is no Queen of England. Gray's not coming to this podcast, okay?
Is there no Queen of England?
All right, so my score is a 3.9.
4. I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Hold on. So doing the calculation.
I said, God help me.
4.3.
Plus 4.3. Well, due to the law of averages, this just barely squeaks by. To Way Down the Mountain, it is a 4. So it is technically peak fiction.
Everything that I had alone.
I'm glad you're happy, okay? I'm glad you're happy.
I used to pray for times like this.
We did it. But, say you may think, okay, we reviewed, show over. Don't touch that dial. We have one more segment. We are introducing a new segment to the show. Right, we'll do every week that we are calling the Hot Take Arena, where we each person will bring their own hot take to the pod. About pop culture, be that actors, movies, TV show, comics, whatever. We'll grade the takes to see are they just smoldering? Are they really hot? Are these nuclear takes? Are these like divine fire in their heat? And to start off. Supo, I believe you had a take.
Let's hear them.
Yeah, so I don't think this take is that crazy. But the thing I want to share with the class is Game of Thrones is just okay. And I'm not talking about, season 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 is what I'm talking about. I'm talking like all from like season 1 to the end of Game of Thrones. That series is just A-okay. And there's nothing wrong with being okay. You know what I mean? But it's not like a series that I would like break an appointment to watch if there was like a new episode to watch. You know what I mean? House of Dragons came out and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll reach to it. And I've seen some episodes. It's all right. But personally, I don't know. It never really gelled when I was watching it, it never really gelled that much with me, or at least not to a point where like I felt this burning urge to watch the next episode. And there are good points. There are high points. You know, I'll give you Red Wedding. Off the top of my head, I'll give you Joffrey's death. You know, maybe I like Jon Snow and I like the Battle of the Bastards. But overall, it's not like the whole Game of Thrones had on people. I just personally just have not felt that.
So you're saying it was never peak?
No, yeah, you know what? I wouldn't say it's like out of 5, it's like a 3.5. You know.
Now, I think that's only one half of the take, though.
Oh yeah. What's the other half? Yeah, that you're referring to.
I believe you said that a different show's first 4 seasons were better.
First 4 seasons. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, these are the shows I have over Game of Thrones, right?
No, not a show. No, there's one show in particular. You told me to my face that the first seasons 1 through 4 was a better show than.
Oh, you're referring to Breaking Bad?
No.
Snowfall?
No.
Better Call Saul, perhaps?
Mm-mm.
Show has 4.
It was on AMC.
You must mean Fear the Walking Dead. No, you must mean The Walking Dead.
Yes.
The Walking Dead is a better show than Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'll stand on that.
That's a nuclear.
Have you ever seen it, Beto? Have you ever seen Game of Thrones, Beto?
Never seen Game of Thrones and never seen Walking Dead, but all you
have to know is that it's better. All you have to know is that
I have heard, and I have known that it fell off very quickly when the original showrunner was kicked off the show.
It falls off. You know, Walking Dead does fall off, but the first 4, and you know what? The first 5 seasons. The first 5 seasons of The Walking Dead.
My take was bad.
It's whooping Game of Thrones.
He's saying yes. C-Super is saying first 5 seasons of The Walking Dead is a better product overall than all of Game of Thrones. Insane.
Yeah, I mean,
psychotic.
And don't be wrong. Walking Dead does fall off. Walking Dead does loses its charm, right? But those they were cooking in those first 4 to 5 seasons, bro. Like they were really the characters were on point. Rick's development as he becomes more of a survivor in this apocalyptic world, and the fact that characters could come and go. Granted, that's a thing. I should know Game of Thrones, but you know, it was a very. I felt more engaged with the. Granted, I didn't watch them at the same time. I don't even know if they were showing at the same time, because Game of Thrones was a show I watched after all 8 seasons got released, so I wasn't even on that binge when everyone else changed. I binged some episodes here and there of Game of Thrones, but you know. But Walking Dead, granted, I binged the first. My binge of Walking Dead was a lot more enjoyable than my binge of Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I think we can rate that nuclear. That take.
I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that. I think you'll find a lot of like-minded people.
I feel like a bunch of people would 100% agree with you, but they wouldn't say Walking Dead. They'd probably say a different show.
A different show, yeah.
And I got other shows that I have over Game of Thrones too. You know what I mean? Like I said, I put Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul over it, and Snowfall for sure. Mm-hmm. And honestly, those shows I would put over Walking Dead. But I will say, of the shows that are surpassed Game of Thrones, Walking Dead is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Beta, what is your take?
I'm going to go with just this take because I have a platform at this point, so I get to say this. Has to do with dark, but no. So, all you Snyder Cut fans, give up. Now, that's just a warning. Now, here's the actual take. They should have let Zack Snyder do what he needed to do for his whatever he creatively thought of for Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League. Whatever his plans were, they should have let him do it.
So Justice League 1 and 2, when you say that.
Yeah, just let him do what he wanted to do. If there was any other projects to come about, let him do it. They shouldn't just pulled the plug and started like scrambling around just to fill their wallets up. Now, that does not mean I'm not a Snyder Cut fan. Does not mean that at all. I'm just saying, I'm
Let him
here
finish
for
his vision.
Wait, what?
Oh no, I was just you just say let him finish his vision.
Yeah, just let him finish his vision. I'm not saying
You do know what his vision was.
I know what his vision was. It was stupid. It's not good.
Yeah,
But
there's an entire plot line where I think Lois Lane had like Bruce Wayne's baby.
yeah,
And that's the reason why Superman went evil.
yeah,
It got very
it got very it was terrible. It's psychotic. But let it ride. And then it had an ending. It had an ending though. And then whatever came about after that, let it be. It's sad that we live in this timeline where even though we got a really good Superman movie, we have to suffer and sit aside next to Snyder Cut fans.
because they're
that.
still holding on.
They're still holding on. And just literally, I was on Twitter like 5 seconds ago where there was a mock-up image of Superboy of just like his suit with the Man of Steel image. And some Snyder Cut fan said, look at what we missed out on. And I'm like, that's not even a real suit that Zack Snyder had any intention of ever doing, and yet they're still falling for it. So, two-parter, Snyder Cut, fans give up. No one cares. It's over. No one is ever buying anything. No one ever is going to finish anything up. Zack Snyder's off doing whatever he wants to do with his slow-mos. James Gunn is doing what he's doing. Every other actor is doing whatever they want to do. Henry Cavill is being a father right now, which you should be too as well, if you have kids.
And we can't have, I'm sorry, but we can't have bald Superman, I'm afraid.
No, that man is balding. That man is legitimately losing his hairline.
But to be fair, if he did finish his vision, that wouldn't shut them up. If anything, they would go harder. I think they would go harder in this present timeline.
I guess.
And be like, well, you only did that because
yeah, but I would say the reason that the Snyder Bro fan base exists as it does is because they have a narrative of a great betrayal, right?
Mhm.
Like there's a great betrayal, and because it never truly existed, they could always speculate on what could have been, right? Even though they got the Snyder Cut, the Snyder Cut Justice League is only kind of like one part of a larger story. Because the story is never finished, the story in your head can be as good as you want it to be. Because it doesn't have to actually exist, right? And that's the thing.
The delusion.
And because of the fact that we fully moved on from it, right? They will always have the story in their head that to them is the greatest story ever told. It just never got a chance to be in theaters. But if it did, woo! But
Yeah.
And that's a better spot for them, technically. Because if it did exist, it was bad, then they would have to basically defend a bad movie forever. Which I'm not saying they can't do, but it'd be a different battle. But because you're defending a hypothetical movie, well, that's easier to do, I feel.
Exactly.
Fair.
Right, that take's hot, but that's not like nuclear hot. That's not that hot.
It's a hot take, but not that bad.
It's like,
all right, so I got a take.
Okay.
On,
let me hear it.
Comic books, right?
Comic books. Okay.
And I have a list. Okay.
Ooh.
And I have a list of characters. These are all gonna be villains, I feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should die, right? Be killed off permanently, or the very least have no news stories for like 5 years, right? Be killed off for like 5 years to let them cool down. Okay? And here's a list of characters I think should be killed off forever.
Okay.
Reverse Flash, Green
Flash.
Goblin, Dr. Octopus, Red Skull. I'm also going to throw on this the Joker.
The Joker. Okay, I was expecting Joker.
Harley Quinn.
Sure.
I mean, she's not really a villain anymore, though.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
Just a character. Get rid of her.
Yeah, for a minute. For a minute. Not permanently, but for a fucking minute.
Not for me.
And I would say, last but not least, I'd probably throw Thanos on that category too. Right?
Thanos.
And here's my take, right? Is all these characters I feel are characters whose stories are finished, right? They've all reached kind of an endpoint, and there's not much more to do with them. And we've seen these characters spin wheels, and they try to do new stuff with them, and it's not good. And I feel like there's just... Oh, actually, no, that's not the last one. My actual take. This might be the hottest take on a character that should die, even permanently for a while. No, not Darkseid. Darkseid's cool. Magneto.
Magneto dies?
I feel like we've done it. Okay? I feel like we've told the stories with these people, but they're still around, right? And I'll break each one down, right? Reverse Flash is a character I don't know why he's still around. I mean, he's a paradox now, so he can't technically die. But what else can he do? Truly,
torture Barry.
That's
he's
already done that.
Yeah, just keep doing.
He's already done that. There's no point for some of this stuff. Like they've already had their bits, and I feel like they've done all they could. You don't need him anymore. Okay, Goblin, Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. I don't mind that he came back because I would say how he was used in the 2000s was interesting, right? As a political figure and a leader of the Thunderbolts and Dark Avengers and stuff. But where he's at now, it's like a so-called good guy or whatever. I think they got him wearing the spider suit now. It's on capacities, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna, because apparently he got poked with a spear that took all his evil out or whatever." It's very stupid.
Yeah, but that's something that they're doing with the character. They're making him a good guy.
That's not a good new thing. He'd be better off. He would be better off dead, in my opinion. That character is better off dead and gone. Okay. Same thing with, I would say, I think we've hit that limit on Red Skull. I think we've ran out of Red Skull stories.
That's fair. You can only do a Nazi guy being Nazi for so long.
You can only do so much with it, right? And he's like, oh, and he's gonna do the classic, like, oh, I was secretly manipulating things, Captain America, that do a Nazi takeover. Bravo, Red Skull. You did it again. Get him out of here. Right? Magneto. I'm tired of him. Right. Just okay.
Hey, if you don't like Hulk,
I get it. He's done the villain thing. He's done the hero thing, right? And every time he's always like, "Well, I'm gonna be this, and I'm Magneto," and blah, 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 right? And then he crashes out. He doesn't crash out. He does this, he does that. I'm tired of him. All right, I get him out of here, right? Harley Quinn, I do not like modern Harley Quinn. I do not. Okay, I do not like
modern Harley Quinn.
I don't like pop punk Harley Quinn that is somehow on every like super team and does all this stuff. I don't like it. Right, ever since the Suicide Squad, I think that was a mistaken direction for the character to go. And now she's like some kind of anti-hero. I just don't. I think people like her aesthetically, right? And maybe people like her relationship with Poison Ivy, but I'm just not a fan of Harley Quinn. Person, I'm just...
Yeah, they've reduced her down to something that wasn't even... Yeah, to something else entirely.
Yeah, I don't even know what she is, truly, anymore. But I would say the biggest character of you gotta get rid of him, right, is the Joker. He has...
Yeah, I'm not mad at that one. That was one I was
no purpose, right, anymore. All he can do is just be edgy, right, and go to Batman and say, "Are you going to kill me this time?" Like, we've been through it, okay? I feel like after the Batman Who Laughs, just get him out of here. Go. He has nothing. He can't. He just does the same thing over and over again. And his presence in the story, I feel, negatively affects future stories. Right? He is overdone. He's been overplayed. I know you can't get rid of him permanently. Okay, I do realize that. But for 5 years, okay, kill him for like 5 years. Is all I'm saying.
I think they're kind of doing that right now because in the current run of Batman, he's not even in it.
Like, well, he's in DCKO, but I don't know where that
Oh yeah, DCKO, but I don't know. He did have a series in like 2020, 2022, but after a while, he's like not in Gotham. He's so far away. I think they really did like put him in the back burner.
I'm giving you my dream Joker story. Right? I think I've said this for my friends. This is my dream storyline: the death of the Joker. Okay, and it's an event, and you can do a last hurrah for this. You know, last hurrah for this character for this period of time, right? You do an event called Death of the Joker, right? Where, stuff is happening in Gotham and Joker's missing, right? It's a bunch of Joker related things are going down and he's missing and nobody can find him. And you're like, what happened to the Joker, right? And the reveal at the end of the first issue is they find out actually Joker's dead, right? He died. And what you're seeing is all his on my death contingencies that he's planning around the city, right? To mess with Batman one last time. And then the rest of the series is trying to figure out, well, who killed the Joker, right? It's a detective story where Batman has to figure out, well, what happened to the Joker, right? Who killed him, right? Why? And he's going different places. He's checking out from criminals. Was it Harley Quinn? Was it Penguin? Was it Two-Face? Was it this or that? I'm trying to figure out, okay, what happened to the Joker while also still dealing with all the Joker stuff. Is this another trick? This or that? And the big reveal is that Joker died, not in a big event, not from another villain, not from anything crazy, but he just pulled up because he ultimately is just a guy, okay? And he pulled up on the wrong civilian doing his game at the wrong time, and he just got shot. He literally just got shot to death, right? And that causes a chain event that causes all this other stuff to happen, right? But that's it. That's the entire thing. And that's like the funny joke at the end of the thing is instead of this grand finale, instead of this whatever, he's literally just dead in an alley, right? In Gotham. And, and that's it. That's the event. That's the story. No more Joker for 5 years. Then you can bring him back because you got to bring him back, right? But no more Joker for 5 years. Maybe there's Joker copycats. Maybe you do Son of the Joker, this and that, whatever. But Joker gone, finished for 5 years. We just take a break. And then maybe when he comes back, we can do something new, right? But where he's at right now is a redundant character. He can't really do anything. And the longer Joker goes around, the more it makes everyone look incompetent. It makes Batman look incompetent. His family incompetent. Makes the Gotham PD look incompetent. His presence just drags down, I think, the rest of DC so much. Because it's how is this clown man doing all this stuff?
Yeah.
His plot armor is crazy. It's just he gets increasingly the glaze is out of control at DC. And I think a temporary pause, kind of you have different seasons, when you're fishing or hunting or whatever, right? And then you say, we're done for now. We've got the quota. Now we're going to pause. And this is what we need for a Joker. We've hit the quota. Now it's time to pause. Okay? let some new things cook for a little bit, and then we'll come back. But until we have a new idea for the Joker, no more Joker. That's my hot take.
Can I add a character that's not a villain, but just this one character?
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Gwen. Get rid of her.
Ooh,
for 5 years.
5 years? 5 years of Spider-Gwen?
5 years without Spider-Gwen.
See, there's one small issue. One small issue, Beto, is Across the Spider-Verse is coming out. No, Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming out. And that means what? New Spider-Gwen #1s hitting the shelves. I hope you're excited.
Well, let me tell you, none of the stories are good. None of them. I've read her original run. It was not good. A good waste of $125.
But yeah, that's my hot take is there's some characters that just need to be retired for a while. Not permanently, but just, for a while. Some of them permanently. Like Green Goblin.
Editorial mandate, guys.
I feel
stamp of approval.
Get Norman out of here. Okay. Especially post haste.
Keep my boy Green. He ain't do nothing wrong.
He's not even green anymore.
He's just I'm trying to do some retribution, some redemption here, and it's annoying.
Woke now.
Yeah. It's annoying that he's woke now. It's really annoying. He's like, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be good. Bro, stop it. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah, there's no... We've hit peak Joker. It's time to let him go. And I understand people want new stuff. And I think the problem with the fandom is this perpetual they bring the characters back because there's a fan base for a character and for whatever. But like, it was better, at least back in the day, right? When a character died, they'd die for a minute. They stayed dead for a while. But I feel like a character can't even stay dead for like a year or they're back. Like how long was Wolverine dead for?
Movie wise or comic?
A comic wise, like because there was a Death of Wolverine event, and I feel like he was back in like a year.
Technically, I think he's still dead because the one who came back is the old man Logan. And I don't know much about that more. Wait a minute.
No, there's a younger Wolverine that's on the team, the X-Men, one of the X-Men teams.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow.
It's that's what I'm talking about. You can't even go a second. They'll do a death of. Remember Miss Marvel? Remember Miss Marvel was dead.
That was Synergy.
That was Synergy. That was Fox Synergy.
That was Fox Synergy.
Before when like Supergirl died, or famously when Barry died, he was dead for a while. When Hal died, like it was a bigger deal. But I feel like these days they do death of event, and then bing bang boom, they're back with a new costume.
Death of Silver Surfer at the moment.
Yeah, but who cares? That's okay. I'm sorry. That was very mean. I'm sure Silver Surfer has fans. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm one of his.
But yeah, maybe they should just kill Peter Parker.
They already did, like multiple times.
Yeah, but like for real.
Let's not get too crazy. It's like let's slow our roll there, right?
The for real death
of all right, maybe.
And Miles takes over as the Amazing Spider-Man.
True. Very true. Very true.
He's in the original run.
I'll be dead if I not be here.
Yeah, no, people would go crazy. That would cause riots if Peter Parker died and Miles took over Amazing.
I would 100%. If I was editorial at Marvel, I'd set up a number to say, dial this number if you're mad about this decision. And I'm just going to pick up the phone and say, who cares, and hang up every time.
Yeah, and they could actually pull it like they did with Superior Spider-Man and be like, actually, no, for real, guys. This change is permanent.
Yeah.
He's never coming back.
Do it for 5 years.
That's why, and also on Doc Ock, that's why Doc Ock should go. Doc Ock's story arc is like done, but he's still around. We did the story arc on Superior Spider-Man. He did it. He finished it. He had his heroic thing, and he died, and that was that. And somehow they brought him back, and they brought him back as like a clone hybrid. I'm like, yeah, fine, he can do that. But he's not even Superior Spider-Man anymore. He's back to being Doc Ock. What are we doing? That's a character who's finished. He did everything. Let him go.
Let him packing.
That's where I'm at.
Get rid of him. Throw out the bum.
Throw out the bum.
That's fair.
But if you have if you have a hot take, feel free to drop it below. I think this is a pretty good episode. We had a good time talking about JJK0 and getting your hot takes out.
Oh, that's what we were talking about. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So, like I said before, like, subscribe, follow whatever platform you're listening to this on, and we will catch you next week with what we're covering next, and that will be, Gurren Lagann. All right.
Oh, okay. I thought you were humming Harry Potter or something. I don't know.
Oh, this one a little different, but yeah, we're gonna be Ro fighting the power next week. We're covering the entire Gurren Lagann show. It's gonna be very hype. All right, I've already set your calendars. It's gonna be a good time, folks. And until then, I guess stay safe, keep enjoying Peak, and all that jazz. And we'll catch you next week.
See you guys. Thank you for listening. Good night.
All right, see y'all.
All right. Good morning.
Bye bye.
Good afternoon.